What's going on, everyone? It's your average consumer, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the iPhone 5. So let's not waste any time, let's get right into it. Alright guys, and here we have the iPhone 5. I know it's been out for about a week now, but I wanted to make sure I had enough time with it before I made any real judgments for this review. And overall, I must say I'm pretty happy with the experience that I got with this phone. The first thing I'd like to talk about is the design. It's very similar in looks to the iPhone 4 and the iPhone 4S, with the biggest changes being, of course, the new 4-inch Retina display. And I must say it's really great to look at. Although I do have my qualms about some of the apps that don't have optimization for the 4-inch display yet, and some of them just happen to have these little black bars at the top and bottom, but luckily this is the black iPhone and those bars blend in with the black bezel of the phone. So I'm not too disappointed, but I constantly find myself checking the App Store for updates to see if any new apps have been updated for the new display. And the second biggest change, of course, is the new back panel. Now it has an aluminum back, which gives it a two-tone look. And at first, I thought this would be a great thing because it meant there wasn't going to be much, there wasn't going to be any glass to break. It probably won't be any scratches that I thought. But unfortunately, with the black iPhone 5, the scratches there seems to be that there are scratches that appear on this, and a lot of people are experiencing it, sometimes right out of the box even. And that only seems to be happening with the black iPhone. The white iPhone, the metal isn't changed, the color isn't changed on the metal, but on the black one, when it scrapes, there's like a white metal underneath. So that's kind of the only downfall of this new design, and thus my using a microfiber cloth on this table while I do this review without a case. The next change with the iPhone 5 is its new slender body. It's a lot thinner than the previous iPhones. Well, not a lot thinner, but it is noticeably thinner when comparing it side by side. It's only really noticeable when you don't have a case on. I also have the HTC One S, which is an extremely thin phone, and this is even thinner than that one is. And both of them just really aren't comfortable to me to hold without a case. I find that without a case, the possibility of it slipping is a lot higher. So I just put a case on just in case, just to avoid any problem. The fear of it slipping out of my hands is just too real of a thought for me. A minor change to the iPhone 5 is that the headphone jack has been placed at the bottom. Previous iPhones had it at the top, but since I've never owned one, it doesn't really feel like a positive or negative. For those of you who might be upgrading, it might take some getting used to. The iPhone 5 also has an 8 megapixel camera that's really great for photos and taking videos. If you've seen test videos, you know that the camera on the iPhone is just amazing. And now they've upgraded the front-facing camera as well. It has a 720p HD front-facing camera, and if you look on my channel, you'll see a video test of me trying it out outside, and it's just really great. It's really crisp and clear, and it really changes things as far as what you would be willing to use the front-facing camera for. If you haven't seen any of my test videos on the camera, I would really suggest checking it out. You'd be pretty surprised at how good this is. The battery life has been pretty decent for me. I get a normal day use out of it, and I check my phone pretty frequently. So by the end of a work day, I'm usually near about 30% or 20%. If you don't check your phone too often, you couldn't expect better battery life. I think the addition of LTE has made this phone faster than any phone I've ever used before. I tend to get about 20 megabytes per second for download speeds, and that's when I have a decent amount of bars. And I've seen it go as high as 47 megabytes per second. LTE is seriously no joke. I know LTE really affects the battery, but because it's in most places that I am, I really don't know what the battery life is compared to it not having it on. But if it does decently for me with LTE, I don't think that you should have any problems when you're not using it. The new A6 processor works great to keep the phone fast and handles games like a champ, as you can see right here. On the software side of things, You're getting the same iOS experience one would come to expect. It's simple and easy to use, and now with another row of icons for you. It's nice to have the 4-inch display, but it isn't a game changer or anything. Although I do prefer to have the 16:9 aspect ratio, which is that rectangular shape that this phone has, similar to like widescreen televisions. This phone is great for the average consumer who doesn't want to do too much with their phone besides simply use it and, play with its apps. Customization is quite limited due to the nature of iOS, and after some time, depending on what kind of user you are, it could get a little boring. Although, to be honest, that might just happen more so for tech enthusiasts and geeks alike. I do think that this is a great fit for the average consumer, as it doesn't throw too much at you while doing an excellent job at all it does, minus multitasking. I definitely recommend this phone for any of those who are interested, unless you're upgrading from an iPhone 4S or something. I think the iPhone 4S is too similar to the iPhone 5 to warrant getting an upgrade, unless you're just dying for the 4-inch display and the thinner body. And pretty much that wraps up my review of the iPhone 5, guys. If you enjoyed it, definitely hit the thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. This is your average consumer. Until the next video, peace.